Get free tech advice for your business from O2 Gurus. Search O2 Business for more. £69. It gets you a flight to mainland Europe on a budget airline, a special edition PS4 game, or 1 year's subscription to Microsoft Office 365. While it might sound like the most boring option, the most useful one is definitely the last one, the Microsoft Office 365 subscription. I pay for it, chances are you do too. So Microsoft announcing they were going to bundle that subscription with a £99 phone made my ears prick up no end. Even better, the phone is a Microsoft Lumia 640, and it isn't terrible. In fact, it's pretty great. And here's why. 720p screen, quad-core internals, and expandable storage. You've also got a nice big battery in there too. Starting with the design, and this looks fun and yet classical all at the same time. It's a bit blocky, but I still think it's a good looking phone, especially with the vibrant colors. It looks pretty young, but the black version and white version also look a little bit more demure. It has the same finish as one of my favorite phones of all time, the Lumia 620, with its two-tone glossy plastic. At 5 inches, it isn't a small phone, even if it isn't a phablet. The screen and the front-facing camera takes center stage. On the right-hand side, you've got the power button and volume rocker. At the bottom is a micro USB port, while up at the top is a 3.5mm headphone jack. Around the back, an 8-megapixel camera, and lift off the back cover to reveal a 2500 mAh battery, that SIM card slot and micro SD card slot. For £99, that definitely looks good to me. The screen is also instantly best in class for the price, alongside the Huawei Honor Holly. 720p, IPS, 5 inches, 294 pixels per inch. This isn't a flagship quality screen, and I'm not suggesting it is. But the Lumia 640 is sharp. Almost as sharp as the iPhone 6. Colors look good head-on, less so off-angle. The picture also looks less superficial than flagship IPS displays, again showcasing its value by contrast. But you categorically will not do better for the price. That the UI allows you to customize your color profile and brightness pretty extensively only adds to the appeal. So the screen is another win for the Lumia 640. Inside, it's Microsoft's Windows and the latest version no less. It packs all the basics you'd expect to see: the start screen and applications list, pull down notifications tray, etc. The start screen is comprised of live tiles. These act as shortcuts to applications while also relaying information about them. The live tiles can be resized, and the start screen is generally the most customizable part of the phone. Jump into the settings and you can swap out your themes or your backgrounds to add some personality to the otherwise slightly sterile user interface. To the right hand side of your start screen is a long list of all your applications, but you can jump to letters by tapping on one of them. The pull down notifications bar has some quick toggles as well as access to your general settings. The settings menu has also been revised for the Lumia 640, so it's broken down into sections, finally. It's a small addition, but it just helps the UI feel a little bit less like an endless vertical list. There are other elements that have made their way onto the Lumia 640 that generally are only really present on more premium phones, like glance screen for example, so you can see some information when the phone is laid down. You can also double tap to wake the phone. The keyboard on Windows Phone 8.1 is also great, though you can't swap it out sadly, so no SwiftKey if you've been saving your dictionary on Android or iOS. As far as the UI performance goes, it's smooth for a couple of days. If you've been using it for a while without having turned the phone off, we did notice it start to slow down, but every time this happened, a simple soft reset solved the problem with no hiccups. As far as applications go, Windows phones had a real tough time in this area. Historically, it just wasn't up to scratch, and well, it still isn't quite as competitive as iOS or Android. Key apps like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Instagram are on board, though they do have some limitations compared to other operating systems. Instagram, for example, still doesn't support video, and BBC iPlayer doesn't support offline playback. So for basic app users, Windows Phone 8.1 and the Lumia 640 will be absolutely fine. But for anyone who wants a more intensive app experience, you'll want to venture elsewhere. Of course, the phone does come with mobile Office and a 3-device subscription to Office 365, like I said, which makes it instantly appealing for anyone who's less fussed on Instagram and wants to kit out a workforce with a bunch of relatively good, cost-effective smartphones. As far as the camera goes, Microsoft's loaded the Lumia with an 8 megapixel rear camera and with 1 megapixel front camera. Thanks to the Lumia camera application, you've got full manual control over the rear cameras, something you'd only generally see with flagships in the Android sphere. There are also living images which animate your photos, and there's an intelligent flash, so it'll fire the flash, take a picture with the flash on and flash off simultaneously, and you can retrospectively choose the strength of your flash. This is genius. Processing these images does take a while though, which can be frustrating. As far as picture quality goes, £99. This is a really good camera phone. Great lighting means even a slightly shaky hand is corrected for with some really good quality images. Pictures don't look quite as punchy as those taken on higher end devices. Dynamic range is also another area that falls behind flagships. But for the price though, you categorically will not do better. Obviously, if you drop the lights, performance wanes pretty heavily. Noise creeps in and handshake introduces a fair bit of blur. This isn't the end of the day though. There's a flash and manual control. The flash helps everything along if you want to use it, and if you can find a steady surface, just slow down that shutter speed and you can take some great low light shots. Ultimately, a very versatile camera bordering on astonishing for the price. Fortunately, it also does a great job of recording 1080p video, and Microsoft has added mid-capture touch to focus into the video recording, which is awesome. Other multimedia fares really well on the Lumia 640 too. The screen's good enough to showcase movies well, there's a fair amount of codec support on there even if it isn't mind-blowing for your own movies, and there are quite a few streaming services. I mentioned BBC iPlayer earlier, you've also got Netflix and Crunchyroll as well. In bright sunlight you may have a bit of trouble viewing those movies, and the color depth obviously won't rival flagships, but for the price, again, you're not going to do much better. Now, gaming's a contentious topic on Windows Phone because there aren't that many games out there. It really is that simple. Fortunately, the Lumia 640 plays the ones that are available pretty well, definitely significantly better than the Lumia 535. It's all powered along by a Snapdragon 400 processor from Qualcomm paired with 1 gig of RAM. As I mentioned when talking around the user interface, general performance across the 640 is good too, save for having to soft reset it every couple of days in order to maintain that smoothness. Internal memory comes in at 8 GB with micro SD expandability too. The fact that Windows Phone is less app-centric than Android means 8 GB isn't as big an issue as it would be if it was an Android phone, for example. Connections are pretty sweet as well. 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, as well as a GPS on board, and you've got mapping on there too. Satellite navigation, no less. As far as battery life goes, a 2500 mAh cell can keep the phone going for 1 to 2 days very comfortably. So that's the Lumia 640, an incredibly easy phone to recommend with some great value adds at a very attractive price. Easily one of the best value smartphones available, and in fact one of the best value anything I can think of off the top of my head. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. I've been Basil, you've been watching BTech. If you like the channel, subscribe to it. That helps me out massively. If you subscribe, we get more subs and get cool tech in even earlier. If you like the video, click like, and of course if you've got any questions about the Lumia 640 or anything I've spoken about in the video, just fire them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.